Well, joining me now from Washington, D.C. is Ahmad Shah Mohibi, founder of Rise to Peace and a former state and defense advisor in Afghanistan. Good to have you with us. So if Panjshir is now under Taliban control, as it seems to be, what does that mean for the National Resistance Front and its leader, Ahmad Massoud?
Well, we are getting a lot of contradicting reports right now. The media and telecommunication has been banned on Panjshir and the resistant forces. So what we hear is the Taliban, they're feeding the world and they're feeding all of us. But what we could say is the Taliban, yes, did capture Bazarak, which is the capital of Panjshir. They raised their flags. That has been happened. The Taliban has attacked Panjshir from various different areas, including Shatul and also for the northern side of Panjshir. And also there has been some reports that the Air Force and drones and some from the Panjshir resistant forces has mentioned that there has been a lot of Pakistani intelligence. Let's see if this is going to get confirmed or not yet. But right now, the resistant forces are in the valleys and the mountains. They're still fighting. And Ahmad Massoud asked for Afghans across Afghanistan to do an uprising and against the Taliban. So right now, the Taliban versus Ahmad Massoud or the resistant forces, same thing happened back in 1980s or 70s. So now the resistant forces or the new Taliban or the Afghan government. So I think the question goes whether the Taliban are going to deliver what they're going to say, what they has been saying. Look, they go door to door to Panjshir, they're attacking these people. The burden is on the Taliban. Let them have to prove it. If they want an inclusive government, let's find out whether they can deliver that or not. As of right now, there has been heavy casualties. A lot of people has lost their lives, and Panjshir has been bombed the past 24 hours.
You mentioned the fact that the Taliban have said that they are going to form an inclusive government. What would be for you an inclusive government? What do we need to see from the Taliban to show that they are listening to international calls?
I think first they have to stop their heavy fires and attacks on Panjshir and let them negotiate, because it was Ahmad Massoud who offered the Taliban. He wants to negotiate with them. An inclusive government in Afghanistan that includes Uzbeks, Hazaras, Baluchs, Tajiks, Pashtuns, and all other ethnic groups in Afghanistan. Because if you look at the political trajectory of Afghanistan, it has been ethnic versus ethnic, this whole war. Of course, it has proxy aspects into it, but domestically, it has been a chaotic, it has been disaster, and it has taken millions of Afghans' life, and many have fled the country. So I think the Taliban, every burden is on the Taliban. Let's see if they're willing to accept General Dostum, Atta Mohammad Noor, and other Northern Alliance resistant forces, and other political leaders in Afghanistan. The political community of Afghanistan right now are in Uzbekistan, Pakistan, UAE, some in Turkey, many other countries. We're talking about a small group of these leaders like Abdullah or Hamid Karzai, the former president of Afghanistan, in Kabul. So I think the Taliban, if they really wants to deliver in inclusive governments, they have to prove it. Instead of going to door and door to Panjshir and executing a lot of Afghan special forces, they just have to prove. Because right now they say one thing, they do another thing.
What about Ahmad Massoud's call for a national uprising, calling for people to rise up against the Taliban? Do you think that call will have any resonance? Will people answer that call?
Yes. I mean, moments ago, I received videos from my people in Kabul that there are people shouting that Allahu Akbar, shouting Ahmad Massoud, shouting his name, and resistant forces, women and children and men. So I think the resistance will continue no matter if the Taliban takes fully Panjshir, all the valleys. But this whole thing will continue. Back in the 1970s and 80s, the same kind of situation happened against the Soviets and the communist regime of Afghanistan. Look, that if they are claiming to be Muslim, they're their own Muslim brothers, so they should stop killing. They should work on a unity government. I think as long as there is injustices, there is unfairness in social and ethnic and political and socioeconomic in Afghanistan, the fight and the war will continue, no matter if the Taliban will take over or the next day resistant forces. I think at the end of the day, a small country with so much rich history and ethnic groups, power sharing, inclusiveness is the key. Right now, I think the bloodshed kind of stop if the Taliban and resistant forces work on some sort of unity and negotiations. But I think the Taliban Twitter accounts, Facebook, all the media has been calling them really, really horrible names. And I think you cannot combat hate by hate. You just have to work, negotiate, and diplomatically.
Ahmad, thank you. Ahmad Shah Mohibi there in Washington, D.C.